For some of us, happiness and excitement feel strangely fragile. They arrive unexpectedly, a moment of pride, a burst of confidence, a quiet belief that perhaps things are finally moving in the right direction, and then, almost as quickly, they disappear. Just when we begin to feel hopeful about the future, something shifts. Sometimes the disruption comes from outside, an unsettling comment, a piece of bad news, an awkward interaction. But just as often, the disturbance comes from within. A thought appears out of nowhere. A memory resurfaces, something we said or did years ago, and suddenly we are flooded with embarrassment. We worry it was misunderstood. We replay it again and again. Or we look in the mirror and feel disappointment. We read something online that triggers insecurity. We become convinced we are inadequate, unattractive, foolish, or behind in life. Occasionally, in ways we barely understand, we even sabotage ourselves. We act against our own values. We say something impulsive. We create unnecessary tension, and almost immediately, guilt and shame rush in, restoring us to a familiar emotional ground: anxiety, fear, disappointment. Within hours or days of feeling genuinely good, we find ourselves back in emotional survival mode. It can begin to feel as if we are operating under an invisible commandment. You must not be too happy. You must not feel too confident. You must not stand out. You must not live too fully. You must always worry. But where do these internal rules come from? Very often, they're not random. They're learned. Many of us grew up in environments where our flourishing was complicated. Perhaps a parent was battling despair, stress, or resentment. Perhaps joy in the household was rare, fragile, or even suspicious. If we were too visibly happy, too proud, too confident, it might have unsettled someone else. Our success may have highlighted their pain. Our excitement may have exposed their regret. Our confidence may have triggered their insecurity. And as children, we are exquisitely sensitive to the emotional climate around us. We quickly learn what keeps us safe and what creates tension. If happiness seemed to provoke discomfort, we may have unconsciously concluded that it was safer to dim ourselves. If confidence led to criticism, it may have felt wiser to doubt ourselves first. If enthusiasm triggered envy or irritation, we may have chosen restraint over radiance. Over time, a subtle association can form. Sadness equals safety. Anxiety equals control. Self-criticism equals protection. A low emotional state does not attract attention. It does not provoke envy. It does not threaten anyone. It keeps us small, careful, and contained. So whenever happiness begins to rise, whenever we start to feel capable, attractive, stable, or hopeful, another part of us may panic. It remembers a time when flourishing felt dangerous, and so it intervenes. It finds flaws to focus on, it brings up embarrassing memories, it urges us to compare ourselves unfavorably. It tempts us toward impulsive behavior that restores guilt. We develop, almost without realizing it, a private repertoire of self-sabotage, subtle skills designed to bring us back down to a safe emotional altitude. If this pattern feels familiar, it may be worth asking, who once felt unsettled by my joy? Did my happiness threaten someone else's emotional balance? Was there a conflict between my flourishing and someone else's suffering? What did I fear losing if I allowed myself to shine? These are not accusations. They're acts of understanding. Because the part of us that disrupts happiness is not evil. It is protective. It is a younger part of us that learned, correctly at the time, how to survive. But what was once necessary may no longer be true. The people who may have required our sadness for their comfort are no longer in authority over us. The emotional rules of childhood are not binding laws for adulthood. We no longer need to shrink to keep the peace. We no longer need to dim our joy to avoid envy. We no longer need to rehearse guilt in order to feel safe. We are allowed to be intelligent without apology. We are allowed to be attractive without shame. We are allowed to be gifted, stable, hopeful, and strong. We are allowed to live without constant fear. Happiness is not arrogance. Confidence is not betrayal. Flourishing does not harm anyone. The frightened child inside us may still fear the consequences of joy, but we can gently reassure that child, it is safe now. We do not have to sabotage what is good. We do not have to fall back into anxiety to restore balance. We do not have to punish ourselves for feeling alive. We are permitted, fully and without condition, to experience sustained happiness. And perhaps the real work is not learning how to become happy, it is learning how to stop feeling afraid of being happy.